I was channeling my schedule for January last month, and it came through to do some sort of a showcase, as in like using all the different modalities. So I do psychic readings, I talk about astrology, I'll do meditation and journaling. And so I just had a placeholder in my calendar for this day and time. I really didn't know what I was going to be doing for it. So a few weeks ago, I sat down. I was like, okay, I have to actually like put it in my calendar because I just put it in my personal calendar, but not an Insight Timer for my class schedule. And I channeled on it. Like, okay, so what exactly am I doing? And what came through was to use all of my card decks and do readings and kind of I view it as like the reverse way of how I normally read. So for those of you who attend my classes or watch my replays every week, or solo videos every week, I normally select my cards, keep them face down, do 2 collective readings. So it's either, 1 card each or one maybe has 2 cards with it. I go through each of those channeling, and then I get the intuitive hit to flip the card over and then read a little bit more and discuss it. And that's the flow that I do for all of my individual readings as well. Um, and so for whatever reason, it just came through to try something a little bit different in a completely new format than I usually read, and to also just fold in everything else that is going on. So what we're going to be doing is so I'll show all the different decks, but I'm going to be doing a card pull for each day. So there'll be 7 cards. There'll be Monday through Sunday. And as I flip over each of them, so I'll intuitively select them, I'll have them all face down, and then I'll just flip each of them over, and then I'll get intuitive information off of that and talk about it. But the other piece that's going to be different is I'll also mention, so I wrote like a little cheat sheet list for myself of what's the upcoming astrology for the week. And so where applicable, I can kind of mention how it's relating, or just considerations based on each of the days. So that I think is going to be very interesting. And then we'll close out at the end. We'll do a quick breathwork practice. And then I had channeled a journal prompt for all of us to do together. So I'll be able to do it myself, which will be nice because normally when I do the meditations and journal classes, I'm just facilitating it. I'm not actually doing any of it, but this came in like, I can do this too. So that'll be fun. And then we can just discuss, afterwards, like thoughts, reflections, or like depending on what comes through, I may have some sort of analysis from it. So again, the segments of it are going to be a little bit different and more interwoven, mixing the modalities. But yeah, so I'm curious how this will go, but please let me know your thoughts. All the classics, the ones that you see me using week over week. So I have the Moon deck. These are Oracle cards. I have the Moonology Manifestation Oracle Deck, Oracle cards, and then the Moonchild Tarot deck. Card number 1, this is from Monday, as in today. Depending on your time zone, for me, I'm already basically halfway through this day, maybe more or less for you. All right, so card that we have is 6 of Wands. I feel like I kind of match. 6 of Wands. This has to do with like harmony and balance. So I always remember this card in particular because just like everything is super symmetrical. So we have a bit of like cycles going on, but to create balance and harmony. Is there anything else that it feels like the focus of today is trying to find new ways to create harmony, shifting what we're paying attention to and reorienting it around how can I make this relationship more harmonious? How can I make my space more harmonious? So that could be cleaning. I'm seeing a lot of like dusting or like fluffing pillows, something that's moving the energy just a little bit. It feels like it's gentle. It's not a forced process, but it allows us to calm ourselves a little bit. Like for some people, it feels like it could be the equivalent of like a nervous system reset. I'm not really getting anything because I was wondering about, well, is it like breathwork practices, or it doesn't feel like it's really focused on physicality in the sense of movement or anything in that space. It's more about the harmony in the relationships that you have and your relationship with your environment. It feels like it's really those two. Today's astrology, the big gigantic news of today. I have a YouTube video about this already. I put it out on Saturday, but in, I don't know, like an hour? Yeah, I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So in a little bit over an hour, we have Neptune entering Aries. And then also for context, we have a Taurus moon today. So Taurus moon, I think, totally works with this energy. It's Venus rule. We're talking about our relationships. We're talking about creating, it's like grounding and harmony and balance. I think all of that is completely spot on with Taurus moon energy, just face value for this card. And Neptune in Aries, I think, is really interesting because the signatures for it, Aries is a fire sign, it's very active. It's not really what we're talking about with the card. And I think it's because the card is the medicine for the change that is happening, for what we're seeing in the collective, for the chapter that we are locking into now for 13 years. And on our day one, on our reset, anytime any planet is going into Aries, that's like the beginning of a cycle. It's the first zodiac sign. So we have a general reset going on. So yeah, it just keeps coming across like the harmony, the Taurian Venus type energy is what we're applying to ease us into the new chapter so that we're not like freaking out about it. Page of Swords. Okay, I have pulled this card so many times in the last few weeks. It's getting ridiculous. All right, so we have Page of Swords. Swords are air signs. So I didn't mention wands are fire signs. So that does make sense with the Aries energy. Swords are air sign. This is about like curiosity. So like asking the right questions. So we're leaning into really understanding what's going on. So if we're starting this week of let's just tidy up, let's move the energy around, let's make sure things are reoriented and in balance. And then next it's like, and now let's figure out why things got out of place, checking where we feel disoriented. It's now we're focusing on the mind-body connection. There's a bit of that happening here too. And what do we have for the astrology? Moon enters Gemini. Okay, that is air sign. That is the mind. That is communication. That is thought. That's so interesting. And then also very notable, we have tomorrow, much later, the Mars-Pluto conjunction. So I have a video that will drop today. It's already scheduled to drop. And again, that's a things coming to the surface, getting curious. That's so perfect because whenever we have Pluto with a conjunction, it's like the truth is coming to the surface. But then we have Mars at play, just as we had Venus previously and Mercury previously this month. Well, now we want to do something about it. So we're getting prepared. We're getting prepared with our thoughts and reflections, all of this like air sign energy. And so then we can take that, and Aquarius is also an air sign, which is where the conjunction is happening. Okay, so from that standpoint, this will kind of lead us into the energy that we need for Wednesday. That's how it's coming across. We have such an interesting storyline. So we have first quarter moon in Scorpio, release your blocks. So number one obvious thing to me is what we were just talking about for Tuesday. Tuesday's Scorpio. Scorpio is ruled, the modern ruler, by Pluto. So I was talking about for Tuesday, we have the Mars-Pluto conjunction. Things coming to the surface, things that we are recognizing, we're thinking about, we're getting curious about, and then we're releasing the blocks. This is the action that we're taking on Wednesday. So we're harnessing the Mars-Pluto conjunction. And then, oh yeah, what I had is that there's no change in astrology on Wednesday. So we have the moon in the same sign, Gemini. We have the energy portal still from Tuesday with the Mars-Pluto conjunction because it's going to ripple through the day. So we're going to be taking the action to, I'm also getting Scorpio, like connecting to our gut and our intuition in the process of identifying what the blocks are. But the action that we take to release the blocks is definitely going to vary by person. It does feel like there's encouragement to take a gentler approach. We're not forcing it. You can't force the blocks to release because then you're just creating more tension. So however it is that we are letting go, we have to do just that, actually, like let go. Pluto energy in general is about destruction to then Phoenix be reborn from the ashes. So we have to lean into surrender for Pluto to do its work. And that's the same idea here, is letting go of what is no longer serving you. And that's like the Mars-Pluto action. The choice that we're making is to, I'm just going to lean into it. I'm going to lean into the lesson of Pluto right now. We have the boundaries card. Healthy boundaries keep me centered and balanced. That's what we were just talking about 2 seconds ago. In our little sidebar got us right here. This is a continuation of that storyline. So when we were looking inward, it seems like Tuesdays is really of significance because, well, it is because I already mentioned we had big astrology that day, but we're really uncovering a lot. And so then when we get to Thursday, I really like this parallel because like what we have is we learn about ourselves and then the next day we're releasing. And then when we release, then we can put the walls up, the protections up. So we create space and then go, all right, I've now moved this out. My boundaries were like here. My boundaries were thin, paper thin, non-existent. Now that I have cleared out what's not working, the visual I'm getting is it's like sludge and slime, like going down the pipes, going down the drains and clearing the space out and like hosing it down. I don't know why I'm getting a grimy shower, but that's what it looks like. And so power washing everything down. And then now it's like we're putting the curtain on, we're putting up a door, we're changing the locks, like we're adjusting, we're securing that place that we have now cleared and reset. You know, again, that was our intention from the beginning of the week. So all of this is helping us to like restabilize. And what do we have for Thursday? I have in the evening, so the moon will pretty much still be in the Gemini air sign energy. So that again starts on Tuesday. And then Wednesday and Thursday, we're picking up on what we did Tuesday, and the moon is in the same sign. So we have a thread of connection between these. So connecting our mind to our decision making, our healing practices. Full moon in Gemini. Okay, this is ridiculous. I just was saying. So the moon is going to go into Cancer and leave Gemini, and Gemini's like, joke's on you, I'm back. Full moon in Gemini, embrace the flow of life. All right, so we have Friday. Okay, I love this for a Friday because Fridays are ruled by Venus. If you're interested in learning about the days of the week, we actually did a podcast episode. It was a 2-part episode on etymology in the fall. And we had talked about the days of the week. So the roots of them and how that's actually connected to different planets. So you can think about this map of astrology going on top of the days of the week. So Friday is a Venus day, and you are aligned with that energy of the day of the week when you are doing things that are pleasure-based, having fun, relaxing, connecting, socializing. And isn't that we normally associate a Friday with anyway? Wanting to cut out of work, wanting to just go relax, wanting to just have fun. So it does seem like part of our play and pleasure is, yes, in the relationships, Gemini, still air sign, but layering on the Cancerian piece, knowing that in case, like for the full moon, our emotions are heightened, to be mindful of that. And I do keep getting something about our intuition over and over again. So it could be a really great day and opportunity for connecting to some different intuitive practices for fun, not for something that's super intense, just being Gemini playful. The thing with Cancer is that Cancer often has issues with boundaries. So that'll mean that there's a bit of a test experimentation that's going on from what we set up on Thursday and how that is translating into Friday. I think we've pulled it like 3 times in these classes this month. It's the purpose card, everyone's favorite. I have unlimited potential and claim my purpose. All I need is within me. Literally, we cannot stop pulling this card. So this is what we have for Saturday. Saturday is, we still have that Cancer moon. So I love the fact that the days when we have the moon in Cancer, we had 2 full moon cards. So we had, again, Cancerian energy, amplification, connection to our intuition. So when we know that everything that we need is within us, we're trusting our highest good. We're seeking to align with that potential, and we can do that with our spirit team, introspection, which we already have been working on this week since Tuesday. And yeah, you can view a lot of these as different acts of spiritual work, of healing work, of caring for yourself, loving yourself, supporting yourself. And yeah, so as far as that, so we have Friday, which is like, okay, let's try to relax. Let's try to enjoy ourselves and being present and being light and connecting to our intuition. And then it's like, yeah, let's keep following that. Because when we're on the high vibrational energy, I love this. When we're on the high vibrational energy, we're more connected to the source energy universe to receive messages about said purpose and alignment. Are we on the right track? Are we on an aligned path? Reaping the benefits of the journey we went on throughout the whole week, and especially building off of the boost that we get from Friday. Very tail end of Saturday, and basically Sunday. Sunday is the big Leo day, because Sunday we have the full moon in Leo. And from the moon deck, our last card, I honor the natural process of growth and transformation. So something that I always recommend on full moon days as a full moon ritual is that you're looking back on what you've accomplished, how you have grown, what you have received in your life. So this is picking up on a bit of that energy of like, you're honoring it, you're appreciating it. It's like the gratitude practice of, wow, I've really come a long way. I've really grown. And like giving ourselves a credit for that. And the fact that it's also in Leo. Leo is very prideful and confident. So that's part of what we are trying to latch onto. Monday, we had 6 of Wands. This was about harmony in our relationships, harmony in our environment, specifically cleaning and about our like living space, how we're connected to our immediate environment and the people within it. And then we go into Tuesday and we're getting curious about why things were out of order, why they weren't aligned, what's going on with us internally. Then Wednesday, now that we have introspected, we're going to release. This will allow us to create more room, more of a sense of flow, letting go of what does not serve us. Thursday, we are continuing that same journey that kicked off on Tuesday, and we are reaffirming and establishing new boundaries. So we have a better understanding of our needs as relates to balance and harmony all the way back from Monday. And when we get to Thursday, we've put in the energy needed to reorient, connect with our values, shed what is not supporting us, and then to put up some different protective barriers so that we can keep that balance and harmony in place. Then we get to Friday, and now we are partially testing, partially just enjoying ourselves. We've done the work, we've worked hard. Let's have fun. Let's connect. Let's enjoy the flow that is Venus ruled Friday. Gemini energy, let's chat, let's have fun, and let's start connecting to our intuition in a way that is playful. It doesn't have to be so serious, but to pay attention to it on Friday in particular. Then we're going to go even deeper with that intuitive work. Now that we're aligned, now that we're high vibrational energy from Friday, we're going to take that right into Saturday. And we're going to get those insights, those downloads for our path, for our next up level, for being aligned with our purpose and our highest good. So now that we're feeling connected, aligned, we've done a bit of a redirect, we've pivoted. This is a lot of work. This is a lot of work this week of things that we are doing. We're taking stock. We're looking inward. We're healing. We're shifting our relationships of all kinds. We're making sure that we're having fun. We're connecting to our intuition. This is a full agenda. And then we get to Sunday, which is a full moon day. So that is an opportunity to also do some releasing, to also connect the full culmination point. Because again, we have three, if you will, cards, 2 cards, 3 days in a row of a full moon energy. The culmination point, you're reaching that peak where you have prepared for the up level, and then you're going to transform. That is our last card here. We have the confidence of the Leo full moon, the pride in ourself for the last approximately 6 months, but also for literally everything that we were tackling during the week, because that was a lot that we were doing. And so we are honoring the space that we need. We are, I just keep getting, it's like we're leaning into the pride and showing ourselves the respect that we deserve and have earned for the time, the energy, the effort, the intention, the compassion that we have put into shaping, reshaping ourselves and transforming. If you want to close your eyes, you can. Just get into a comfortable seat, or if you want to lay down. We won't be doing this for too long, but whatever strikes your fancy. All right, so you can just take one deep inhale and exhale just to clear out, give us a nice baseline. And then we're going to inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. Make sure to be gentle on your exhale. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. And then very gently return to your normal breathing pattern. No sudden movements here. And you can grab whatever it is that you were using to complete our little journal prompt today, and I will throw it in the chat, and let's see what the question was. So again, this was channeled yesterday, well before I even knew what cards I was going to be using today and what the messages were going to be. So what we got for us to journal on, and I'm just going to give everybody maybe 2 to 3 minutes. If you want to share in the chat, you are more than welcome to. We can discuss it. And the question is, what do I need to know this week about experiencing joy? That's funny. That is funny. All right. Well, I'll give everybody a few moments with this question. Some of the things that I wrote down, joy stems from patience, gratitude, slowness, and stillness. It's not in a rush or in need of pursuit or claiming. We can find joy as easily as it can find us. Yeah, I know. Isn't that nice? Jackie wrote down, don't get too carried away twice. Patience rang true in my writing. Oh, so you've got that as well. Also, to use my inner child to see and experience joy. I'm immediately getting like one of the signatures for Gemini, like is youth and the child. So I think that you kind of picking up on that for the Friday energy in particular makes a lot of sense. And that inner child piece could be like maybe that's part of what you're releasing Wednesday. Or the boundaries Thursday that your inner child needed to set you up for experiencing the Friday joy. So Wednesday is the transit class, and that lines up with the release your blocks. So this is kind of like Scorpio is also associated with more of the kind of woo occult taboo. So like having an astrology class on like a Scorpio day is kind of funny and on point. And then of course on Friday we have our Gemini, like moon, like connecting to your intuition, communicating, writing, journaling class. Perfect. So yeah, that's pretty fun to see it sync up in that way too. So again, those are my two classes for the rest of the week. So I have 3 classes this week, no class on Monday, but then I'll be back for all of the February astrology. Thank goodness for us. February, there is less activity. We are tired from January, especially last week. Last week, oh my gosh, if you follow on my YouTube channel or my social media where I have my little graphic, there was something every day of the week last week. It was a lot. And so it actually makes a lot of sense in that way that we are focusing on reestablishing balance this week because wow, there was a lot that was kicked up.